Hi there, it's John Fenton from Jazz Local 32. I'm going to be talking to some musicians to find out how their lives have been impacted by the COVID-19 crisis. I would like to introduce the baritone saxophonist, or that's his primary instrument, Päl Inderberg, and we're talking to him in his studio in Norway, in Trondheim, to be exact. So, Päl, nice to see you, my friend.
Nice to see you. Yeah, and it was nice visiting in New Zealand last year, and the year before we had some nice concerts. And that's because of you, I think.
Any association with Konitz and Marsh, and that's always a thing I like very much.
Yeah, and you know, I met Konitz first time on the EP when I was 16 years old, and 15 years old after that. I met him at the stage and played with him, so it was very important for me, of course.
Yeah, and you had quite a long association with Lee Konitz, didn't you?
Yeah, I met him in 81 or 82 the first time. We played at the same festival, and 2 years after that, we played together with my own quartet, then with the trumpet player, Mr. Åge Midtgaard, and Björn Alterhög on bass, and Espen Ruud on drums, and Lee and me playing together. I think Lee was a kind of stand-in for Jerry Mulligan, because Jerry Mulligan who went to South America instead of coming to Norway. So, so then Lee Konitz came instead. So since '83, I've been touring with him. I played, recorded 2 CDs, and we had a lot of fun together. And the same humoristic way of being together, I think. So we have nice evenings and nice swimmings together, you know. You know the way Lee Konitz was swimming? Have you seen him swimming?
No, I've never.
No, he is swinging on his back, and he is moving in the direction of the feet. You know, can you imagine?
Yeah. Like a sea otter.
Yeah, like a sea otter. So we had a lot of nice moments together, in addition to the musical moments, you know.
Yeah, and I think you encountered Warren Marsh.
Yeah, because in '83, one, I think it was in '83 or '84, one came to Norway because of Lee Konitz, I think, because we wanted them to play together, but we didn't succeed in doing that. But one was coming, and he was staying with me for some weeks, and we had very nice tours together, and we recorded a couple of recordings, and he was a very good teacher, you know. So he was teaching at the jazz education at the university, where I have been for 30-40 years now. So he was, and Lee did as well. He was very good teacher at the conservatory that days.
Yeah, I mean those two are iconic figures in the, certainly among musicians, if not the greater jazz community. And of course, Warren passed many years ago, and now sadly the virus has claimed Lee. You know, it's not a way to go, and what a legacy.
Yeah, and he was playing concert until until January, I think. So
tell me how the Norwegian community handled the lockdown, particularly how it affected musicians.
Yeah, you know, I was touring the week 10, 11, 12th of March, and one day I lost about 35 concerts from now until September. So that was done in 24 hours. So then I went back to Trondheim and been there since. But 2 weeks ago, I started streaming some concerts. But yeah, it's been a very nice economical solution in Norway, because the government say you get 80% of what you have been earning the last 3 years. I mean, kind of fee without playing. So, I mean, this government has been very nice for the musicians, I think. The money is not there yet, but next month, I think, all the freelance musicians will get some money. But the streaming has functioned very well, and we have got some money from doing that. And now we are opening some festivals, some small festivals in June. I think until 50 people among the audience. So people playing free jazz music, they are very happy to that, because that's not more than 50 people among the audience, you know. No, but I mean, and the festival administration, they have got some money to go on, so it's not very bad. But I've been practicing for 3, 4, 5 hours a day, and a lot of interviews because of this situation, and of course because of the death of Lee Konitz as well. So, yeah. And releasing a CD. So I have a lot to do.
Yeah, and you know, if you're in a big band and you've got charts in front of you, you can play remotely because you're reading a chart, and not so easy when you're improvising in an ensemble.
No, it's not so easy.
In fact, hardly anyone has done it.
Yeah, and doing this streaming concerts, very strange. That's kind of studio work, you know, but no connection with the technician. So that's zero communication with the audience and the technician as well. So this is crazy way of being a musician. So, but I'm next week I'm doing some videos because we have the big celebration on 17th of May, the National Day, and we're doing a couple of videos in that connection. And instead of visiting the festivals, we are going to record some music to be sent as a video on the festivals for 50 people. So, yeah, so it's got lots of good solutions.
No, but you played in Trondheim Cathedral this morning.
Yeah, I had a rehearsal there because I'm playing there on Sunday morning. Yeah. So, and with the organ player there, we are going to play some Norwegian traditional music in combination with the more church music, you know. So
yeah.
And I'm playing soprano in that concert.
Oh, you're playing soprano, yes.
Yeah, in the cathedral, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a bit of a tradition of particularly baritone saxophones in cathedrals. I'm thinking John Sermon, I'm thinking Jerry Mulligan.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Well, yeah. I have some problem playing this organ in this cathedral because it's so... Oh. Yeah, so I'm preferring the soprano.
Yeah. So you need to occupy a different register. Yeah.
I need.
Yeah.
And you know, Lee was always talking about this because he was tuning his instruments so high, you know. He was, that's a correct way of doing it. He is tuning its instrument up very high. And yeah. What do you say in English when you are tuning that way?
Yeah, I think that works fine in English. Yeah.
Okay.
So
and I asked him why do you tune these instruments so high above the you know this 440, this 440A? Yeah. Oh, that's because then I hear myself and my my fellow musicians hear me because I'm tuning so high. So that's a good explanation. I never thought about it. So
yeah, see, that's thinking of the collective, how it works with the collective.
yeah, and playing in a big band and with his sound, he didn't hear himself, so he was tuning that high to hear himself. So
now you said you had some film of you.
Yeah,
recently.
this is an old DVD, you know, so I place it here. So, and he's here talking about the situation between the black musicians and the white musicians in the late 40s. I think it's very interesting.
So, I mean, I had the good fortune of being able to play with some of these musicians, and I learned that like Miles was a student of the music, and he came to my studio once to try a piece. He recorded a couple tunes with me, actually, and he was going to play one of my themes, and he came over to try it, and I decided not to play it. He wasn't in good shape at that time. So I felt like I was accepted in some way, and I appreciated that. As is stated, I don't know if it's in the book or not, but a lot of the black musicians were angry at Miles for hiring me for his Birth of the Cool band, because Sonny Stitt was available, and Jackie McLean, and all the good black alto players. And Miles said something to the effect that, "I don't care if it's green, plays good." I appreciate it. Maybe Miles thought I was Irish.
It's quite ghostly to hear Lee's voice like that, but
Yeah.
great
It
insights.
It is, and you know, he was at that time. It was very interesting talking about this, because he felt that we were very interested in his music, and we knew his solos. We were singing together when we were traveling, you know, and we were singing Lester Young solos, and he always started do beep, do 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 beep, do re pop be do bing 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 do bum. You know that solo? Lester Young from 36 or something.
Yeah.
And he always started the tour with singing this, and then he was singing solo for solo, and lots of solos, Armstrong and Charlie Parker solos, and he was doing this not to be like Parker, Lester Young, and Armstrong. And that's a paradox, you know, doing so much imitation work with that aim not to be like those people.
Yeah, and of course that was a great thing that Lester Young always said, that you need to be able to sing to play well.
Yeah, and include the lyrics
and the
as
lyrics.
well.
Yeah, you get the phrasing. Yeah.
And he, you know, one Lee always had a very conflict-filled, if it's correctly expressed, but because one march he was thinking a lot more vertical. He was thinking as a piano player. One, you know, he was a piano player as well. He was playing more vertical, and Lee Konitz more horizontal. So he was very interested in telling about this difference between Warren and Lee in that time. So for me as co-musician, it was very interesting to hear that two different ways of listening and playing.
Now you've just put out an album, Radio Inderberg. Well,
yeah.
It is, I'm just getting this LP and a CD. So,
CD, yep.
yeah. So here I'm playing some very old Norwegian traditional music in combination with some of these lines, No Splice and It's You. So I tried to do a combination with this, this blue note tradition in Norwegian traditional music and blue note in African American jazz. I feel it's a lot of the same way of listening to these blue notes.
Oh.
So,
Celtic music is very blues orientated. I think it's a good mix.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a joke when Lee Konitz says that Miles perhaps thinks he's Irish, because there's a lot of traditional music coming that direction as well, from Europe to USA, and for me back again to the Nordic countries. So it's been exchange all the time.
And
so this, yeah.
I'll just say, is that Håkon on there with you on that album?
Yeah.
So it's duo.
Håkon Joseth Johansen is the drummer, yeah, and Trygve Fiske on bass.
On bass.
Do you want to play something? Do you want to play something?
Yeah, I've actually got some tracks, so I'll put them on after this. I'll put up a post and I'll have a track or two on there.
Okay.
Yeah. So has that been officially released yet?
5 hours ago, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I spoke to your manager and we had a communication via email.
Oh, you had? Yeah. Good.
Very friendly, nice man. Swedish, I think.
He's Swedish.
Mm.
So he's a very nice guy and a professional guy, and I'm very glad to be in this because it's not very easy to get a good release situation, for jazz music, because it's not selling very much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, back on the road again for all the musicians, and now they can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll have a boom next year, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of an irony, isn't it, that there were so many great musicians on the road prior to the virus, and we were hearing good, New Yorkers, people from Europe, and then suddenly the virus. So, but musicians create, that's what they do. They don't stop for hard times.
No. Finding new situations all the time. So.
Yes, nobody's thinking, I wish I spent more time with my banker. They're wanting music.
No. I mean, when I was teaching, I always said to students, you have to think for the next 60 years and plan for the next 60 years, because you have to change every day for the next 60 years. And so start now and be patient. And that I think that's very important, being a musician. You can't think about primarily the money. You have to think about the music and then the money. So
yeah.
Yes,
you can't do without it, but that's not where the inspiration comes from.
Yeah, I agree.
And I might be prejudiced, but I regard jazz and improvised music in general as being the highest of art forms, because it's a tightrope walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you put yourself at risk, you get reward.
Yeah, it's very risky. And often when I enter the stage, I say, oh, why am I doing this? But when I'm there, I feel that this is the right place to be. So and talking about Lee Konitz, he was
yeah, I don't have the book. Yeah, here it is. This book, you know, this conversation on the improviser's art. This is Andy Hamilton. He was the author. Here Lee Konitz says, and it's a good quote, you know, "That's my way of preparation, to not be prepared. And that takes a lot of preparation." And entering the stage, you have to feel this preparation, you know. If you know, when the last time I played with Lee, he didn't want to plan at all. He said, we meet at 7 o'clock, concert is starting at 7. Okay, what are we going to play? Oh, I've been preparing now for 70 years, so I can't talk about this. This is too late. This is too late. And in a way, it's very scaring, but very important way of saying it in this quote as well. So, have you been reading this book? This Andy Hamilton?
I've just made a note of it, and I'm going to be looking for a copy immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's more important, you know. This is all my LPs. Do you see them? No.
Yep, I do. Yep.
This is Lee Konitz LPs. And this is the first one. This is a CD. No, this is an EP. It's with the strings. So I was 16 years old when I got this.
I've got friends who've got that, and
yeah.
And I saw that LP CD sitting beside the LPs with the red cover. That's the one I got on iTunes.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. I see. That is live in Oslo. Yeah.
Live in Oslo. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, some of it. And, but he was very angry entering the stage, you know, because he saw the microphones. I don't want to play with the amplifiers and microphones. Yeah, but you know, we have been talking about this. It's a recording. Oh, then you need some microphones. Ah, shit. Okay. He was so angry, and he entered the stage and was playing at the very back part of the stage and moving towards the microphones during the first, I think it was It's You on a One or something. But he was playing 4 meters away from the microphone, you know. So he was.
I saw an interview with him last week with Bill Frisell, one of the musicians in a recent album that he did, was talking about this, and he walked into the studio and they said, "You're all baffled," and he said, "Oh shit, I don't want to do that. And they said, "Well, that's the modern way of doing it." He said, "Oh, and that was the wrong thing to say." He said, and modern is always right."
Yeah. And Björn, the bass player, he brought his amplifier. I don't know where it was and when it was. And what's that? No, that's my amplifier. Oh, okay. And then he started to play the bass, and I said, "Oh, Björn, your bass sounds like a banjo." So that was it. The starting of the concert. Very, very inspiring, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, I'm glad to see you in good spirits, my friend, and that's those beautiful insights into your journey and Lee Konitz, and I have a great fondness for the Tristanoites. I'm sure only music students bother with Tristano stuff these days, but it's dear to my heart.
Yeah.
It was a different path.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's in your what do you have planned as you ease out of lockdown? You think you'll pick up some of those tours again?
Oh yeah. You know, the government, they are giving us new information every week now. So they are starting to loosen the situation. So I think we are going to have the first festival jobs in last part of August, and then starting touring in September.
Right.
So yeah. So
you are lucky to be in a socially democratic country rather than America.
It is.
Goodness knows when anyone will get back into America again.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, we have a kind of right-wing government now. But these days, the right wings, they are social democrats. You know.
Oh, yeah. Yes. In a crisis, though, everyone wants to be a communist. They put their hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, so I'm playing a lot, and I'm doing some preparation for new records with the young people. I'm lucky, you know, young people, they want to play with me. So I'm a very lucky situation.
I'm not surprised. You got a lovely tone on that. I've only heard you on the baritone, so.
Yeah, you know, I'm using the baritone as a impro instrument, and playing the soprano more like kind of classical way of doing it. So I played some classical music on alto and soprano 30 years ago, and played as a soloist with the symphony orchestra. So I studied some classical saxophone in London in the 80s. So, but I have to do it separately. I have to think that soprano as a kind of folk classical instrument, and the baritone as African American Nordic jazz instrument.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wonderful instrument.
It is.
And it's not so common. And it's your primary?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, listening to, I don't know if you know Lars Gullin, the Swedish.
Oh, yes, indeed, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. And his sound, I mean, this combination of his sound and Tristano and Konitz, and a little European classical approach. It's a good combination in my internal ears, you know. So
I've got some of those lovely old Dragon albums.
Yeah. Oh, you know them? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with Rita Reyes and. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you know, he was a piano player as well, and so and a composer. So it's very, and he played with the Jan Allan a lot, and he's about, I think he's 85 now, but he's still playing, and I am still playing with Jan Allan once a year, the trumpet player. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he played with Lee. Yeah.
I think sometimes the Americans don't know as much about the European jazz scene, but because we are far away, we look into it all. I'm very appreciative of the Nordic jazz scene and the Polish. I mean, Stanko and all of those people that arose in those difficult times.
Yeah, I listened to Namyslovsky, this alto saxophone player, years ago. I think he moved to New York. I think so. Yeah, he was a great player.
In the communist days, I think there was quite a lot of exchange between the Nordic countries and the Eastern Bloc. Limited.
Yeah. I was studying in East Germany. I was studying socialistic music aesthetics.
Oh, right.
Yeah. In East Germany only for some months, but it was very important. That was in the 70s. So, but because a lot of Norwegian youngsters, they were communists, you know, and we have to play the right music, not the right-wing music, but
Yeah.
left-wing music, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, I suppose it's quite late there, isn't it? It's
Yeah, it is. So I'm having one coffee and one brandy and then go to bed.
okay. Well, look, John Päl, it's a delight to talk to you, and I'm happy to see you looking so well. And thank you very much for giving your time. I look forward to seeing you in person sometime soon.
I hope to see you, John. It's very nice to talk with you and talk to you.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
keep
you.
playing, my friend. You bring joy.
Thank you very much. Okay, see you.
Okay.